Yes, now.
Hello, everyone. It has been a long time since we met, and we hope you're all doing well and enjoying your studies. For all our newcomers, let me just inform that we are members of TES Reading Club and we read out classical works every week. We have read quite a few works and we enjoyed reading them thoroughly. And today we are back to read The Rivals Act 1. As you know, it is a classical work by Richard Brinsley Sheridan. Those of you who are avid readers and who wish to read along with us can join Test Reading Club on Telegram, or you can just drop a message below and we'll be very happy to add. So, without any further ado, let's start Act 1 of The Rivals. Scene 1, a street. Enter Thomas. He crosses the stage. Fag follows, looking after him. Fag,
What, Thomas? What, Thomas? Sure, this he? What? Thomas? Thomas?
Hey, odds life, Mr. Fag. Give us your hand, my old fellow servant.
Excuse my glove, Thomas. I'm devilish glad to see you, my lad. Why, my prince of charioteers, you look as hearty, but who the Duans thought of seeing you in Bath?
Sure, Master. Madam Julia, Harry, Mrs. Kate, and the postilion. Be all welcome.
Indeed.
Hey, Master thought another fit of the gout was coming to make him a visit, so he would a mind to give it the slip and a whip. We were all of that, an hour's warning.
A has seen everything, or it would not be Sir Anthony Absolute.
But tell us, Mr. Fagg, how does young Master or Sir Anthony will stare to see the captain here?
I do not serve Captain Absolute now.
Why sure?
At present, I'm employed by Ensign Beverley.
I doubt, Mr. Fagg, you haven't changed for the better.
I have not changed, Thomas.
No? Why didn't you say you had left young Master?
No. Well, honest Thomas, I must puzzle you no further. Briefly, then, Captain Absolute and Ensign Beverley are one and the same person.
The devil they are.
So it is indeed. And the ensign half of my master being on guard at present, the captain has nothing to do with me.
So, what this is, some freak? I warrant. Do tell us, Mr. Fagg, the meaning on't. You know I have trusted you.
You'll be secret, Thomas.
As a coach horse.
Why then the cause of all this is love, love, Thomas, who, as you make it read to you, has been a masquerader ever since the days of Jupiter.
I guessed there was a lady in the case. But pray, why does your master pass only for envious? Now, if he had shame, general indeed.
Ah, Thomas, there lies the mystery. Oh, the matter. Harkee, Thomas, my master is in love with a lady of a very singular taste. A lady who likes him better as a half-pay ensign than if she knew he was son and heir to Sir Anthony Absolute, a baronet of 3,000 a year.
That is an odd taste indeed. But has she got the stuff, Mr. Fagg? Is she rich, eh?
Rich? Why? I believe she owns half of the stocks, zones, Thomas. She could pay the national debt as easily as I could my washerwoman. She has a lapdog that eats out of gold. She feeds her parrot with small pearls, and all her thread papers are made of banknotes.
Bravo! Faith, odd. I warrant she has a set of thousands at least. But does she draw kindly with the captain?
As fond of pigeons?
May one hear her name?
Miss Lydia Languish. But there is an old tough aunt in the way. Though, by the by, she has never seen my master, for we got acquainted with Miss while on a visit in Gloucestershire.
Well, I wish they were once harnessed together in matrimony. But pray, Mr. Fagg, what kind of place is this Bath? I have heard a deal of it. Here's a motto merrymaking, hey?
Pretty well, Thomas, pretty well. This a good launch. In the morning we go to the pump room, though neither by master nor I drink the waters. After breakfast we saunter on the parades or play a game of billiards. At night we dance, but damn the place, I'm tired of it. The regular hours stupefy me, not a fiddle nor a card after 11. However, Mr. Falkland's gentleman and I keep it up a little in private parties. I'll introduce you there, Thomas. You like him much.
Sure, I know Mr. Dupinay. You know his master is to marry Madame Julia.
I had forgot. But Thomas, you must polish a little. Indeed, you must. Here now, this wig. What the devil do you do with a wig? Thomas, none of the London whips of any degree of ton wear wigs now.
More's the pity, more's the pity. I say, odds life. When I heard how the lawyers and doctors had took to their own hair, I thought how would to go next? Odd rabbit it. When the fashion had got foot on the bar, I guessed it would mount to the box. But it's all out of character. Believe me, Mr. Fagg, and looking them, I will never give up mine. The lawyers and the doctors may do as they will.
Well, Thomas, we'll not quarrel about that.
Why, bless you, the gentlemen of the professions went all of the mind. For in our village now, tough Jack Goge and the exciseman has turned to his parrots. There's little Dick. The friar swears he will never forsake his Bob, though all the college should appear with their own heads.
Indeed, well said, Dick, but hold, Mark, Thomas.
Zooks, it's the captain. Is that the lady with him?
No. That is Madame Lucy, my master's mistress maid. They lodge at that house, but I must after him to tell him the news.
Odd. He is giving her money. Well, Mr. Fagg,
Goodbye, Thomas. I have an appointment in Guide Sports this evening at 8. Meet me there, and we'll make a little party.
Exeunt severely. Scene 2. A dressing room in Mrs. Malaprope's lodging. Lydia sitting on a sofa with a book in her hand. Lucy has just returned from a message.
indeed, ma'am, I transversed half the town in search of it. I do not believe there's a circulating library in Bath. I haven't been at all.
And could not see
No, indeed, ma'am.
not the,
No, indeed, ma'am.
not the mistakes of the heart.
Ma'am, as ill luck would have it, Mr. Bull said Miss Suki Saunter had just fetched it away.
Hey ho, did you inquire for the delicate dessert?
Or the memoirs of Lady Woodford? Yes, indeed, ma'am. I asked everywhere for it, and I might have brought it from Mr. Frederick's, but Lady Slanton Lounger, who had just sent it home, had so soiled and dog-eared it, it wasn't fit for a Christian to read.
Hey ho, yes, I always has been before me. She has a most observing thumb, and I believe cherishes her nails for the convenience of making marginal notes. Well, child, what have you brought me?
Oh, here, ma'am.
taking books from under her cloak and from her pockets.
This is the Gordian knot and this peregrine picker. Here are the tears of sensibility and Humphrey Clinker. This is the memoirs of a lady of quality written by herself. And here, the second volume of The Sentimental Journey.
Hey ho, what are those books by the glass?
The great one is only The Whole Duty of Man, where I press a few blondes, ma'am.
Very well, give me the sal volatile.
Is it in a blue cover, ma'am?
My smelling bottle, you simpleton.
Oh, the drops. Here, ma'am.
Hold, here's someone coming. Quick, see who it is. Exit Lucy. Slowly, I heard my cousin Julia's voice. Re-enter Lucy.
Lad, ma'am, here is Miss Melville.
Is it possible? Exit Lucy, enter Julia. My dearest Julia, how delighted am I. They embrace. How unexpected was this happiness?
True, Lydia, and our pleasure is the greater. But what has been the matter? You were denied to me at first.
Oh, Julia, I have 1,000 things to tell you. But first, what has conjured you to Bath? Is Sir Anthony here?
He is. We are arrived within this hour, and I supposed he will be here to wait on Mrs. Malaprop as soon as he is dressed.
Then before we are interrupted, let me impart to you some of my distress. I know your gentle nature will sympathize with me, though your prudence may condemn me. My letters have informed you of my whole connection with Beverley. But I have lost him, Julia. My aunt has discovered our intercourse by a note she intercepted and has confined me ever since. Yet, would you believe it? She has absolutely fallen in love with a tall Irish baronet she met one night since we have been here at Lady Maxwell's route.
You jest, Lydia?
No, upon my word. He really carries on a kind of correspondence with him under a feigned name, though, till she chooses to be known to him. But it is a Delia or a Celia, I assure you.
Then surely she is now more indulgent to her niece.
Quite the contrary. Since she has discovered her own frailty, she has become more suspicious of mine. Then I must inform you of another plague. That odious acres is to be in Bath today, so that I protest I shall be teased out of all my spirits.
Come, come, Lydia, hope for the best. Sir Anthony shall use his interest with Mrs. Malaprop.
But you have not heard the worst. Unfortunately, I had quarrelled with my poor Beverley just before my aunt made the discovery, and I have not seen him since to make it up.
What was his offense?
Nothing at all. But I don't know how it was. As often as we had been together, we had never had a quarrel, and somehow I was afraid he would never give me an opportunity. So last Thursday, I wrote a letter to myself to inform myself that Beverley was at that time paying his addresses to another woman. I signed it, your friend unknown, sold it to Beverley, charged him with his falsehood, put myself in a violent passion, and vowed I had never see him more.
And you let him depart so, and have not seen him since?
It was the next day my aunt found the matter out. I intended only to take this gentleman
If he is as deserving and sincere as you have represented him to me, he will never give up on you. You consider, Lydia, you tell me he is but an ensign and have 30,000 pounds.
But you know, I'll lose most of my fortune if I marry without my aunt's consent, till her face. And that is what I have determined to do ever since I knew the penalty. Nor could I love the man who would wish to wait a day for the alternate.
Nay, this is a caprice.
What does Julia tax me with caprice? I thought her love of Falkland had inured her to it.
I do not love even his faults.
But apropos, you have sent to him, I suppose.
Not yet, upon my word, nor has he the least idea of being in Bath. Sir Anthony's resolution was so sudden, I could not inform him of it.
Well, Julia, you are your own mistress, though under the protection of Sir Anthony. Yet,
Have you for this long year been a slave to the caprice, the whim, the jealousy of this ungrateful Falkland? Who will ever delay assuming the right of a husband while you suffer him to be equally imperious as a lover?
Nay, you are wrong entirely. We were contracted before my father's death. That and some consequent embarrassments have delayed what I know to be my Falkland's most ardent wish. He is too generous to trifle on such a point, and for his character, you wrong him there too. No, Lydia, he is too proud, too noble to be jealous. If he is captious, this without dissembling, it fretful without rudeness. Unused to the fopperies of love, he is negligent of the little duties expected from a lover. But being unhackneyed in the passion, his affection is ardent and sincere. And as it engrosses his whole soul, he expects every thought and emotion of his mistress to move in unison with his. Yet, though his pride calls for his full return, his humility makes him undervalue those qualities in which would entitle him to it. And not feeling why he should be loved to the degree he wishes, he still suspects that he is not loved enough. This temper, I must own, has cost me many unhappy hours, but I have learned to think myself his debtor for those imperfections which arise from the ardor of his attachment.
Well, I cannot blame you for defending him. But tell me candidly, Julia, had he never saved your life, do you think you should have been attached to him as you are? Believe me, the rude blast that overset your boat was a prosperous gale of love to him.
Gratitude may have strengthened my attachment to Mr. Falkland, but I loved him before he had preserved me. Yet surely that alone were an obligation sufficient.
Obligation. Why a water spaniel would have done as much? Well, I should never think of giving my heart to a man because he could swim.
Come, Lydia, you're too inconsiderate.
Nay, I do business. What's here? Re-enter Lucy in a hurry.
Oh, ma'am, here is Sir Anthony Absolute. Just come home with your aunt.
Will not come here, Lucy. Do you watch?
Exit Lucy. Julia,
Yet I must go. Sir Anthony does not know I'm here. And if we meet, he'll detain me to show me the town. I'll take another opportunity of paying my respects to Mrs. Malapro when she shall treat me, as long as she chooses, with her select words so ingeniously misapplied, without being mispronounced.
re-enter Lucy.
Oh, Lord, ma'am, they are both coming upstairs.
Well, I'm not detaining you. You, my dear Julia, I'm sure you are in a haste to send to Falkland. There, through my room, you will find another staircase.
Adieu.
Julia embraces Lydia. They exit.
Here, my dear Lucy, hide these books. Quick, quick. Fling Peregrine Pickle under the toilet. Throw Roderick Random into the closet. Put the innocent adultery into the whole duty of man. Thrust Lord Aimworth under the sofa. Cram Ovid behind the bolster. There, put the man of feeling into your pocket. So. Now lay Mrs. Chapman inside. And leave Horace's sermon open on the table.
Oh, burn it, ma'am. The hairdresser has torn away as far as a proper pride.
Never mind. Open at sobriety. Fling my Lord Chesterfield's letter. Now, poem.
Exit Lucy. Enter Mrs. Malaprop and Sir Anthony Absolute. There, Sir Anthony. This is the deliberate simpleton who wants to disgrace her family and lavish herself on a fellow not worth a shilling.
Madam, I thought you once.
Thought, miss? I don't know any business you have to think at all. Thought does not become a young woman. But the point we would request of you is that you will promise to forget this fellow, to illiterate him. I say, quite him from your memory.
Ah, madam, our memory will independent of our habits. It is not so easy to forget.
But I say it is, miss. There is nothing on earth so easy as to forget. If a person chooses to set about it, I am sure I have as much forgot your poor dear uncle as if he had never existed. And I thought it was my duty so to do. And let me tell you, Lydia, these violent memories don't become a young woman.
Why, sure, she won't pretend to remember what she's ordered not. Aye, this comes of her reading.
What crime, madam, have I committed to be treated thus?
Now, don't attempt to extricate yourself from the matter. You know I have proof controvertible of it. But tell me, will you promise to do as you are bid? Will you take a husband of your friend's choosing?
Madam, I must tell you plainly that had I no preferment for anyone else, the choice you have made would be my aversion.
What business have you missed with preference and aversion? They don't become a young woman. And you ought to know, as they both always wear off, this safety is in matrimony to begin with a little aversion. I am sure I hated poor dear uncle before marriage, as if he had been a blackmore. And yet, miss, you are sensible. What a wife I made. And when it pleased heaven to release me from him, 'tis unknown what tears I shed. But suppose we were going to give you another choice. Will you promise us to give up this Beverly?
Could I to give that promise? My actions would certainly as far belie my words.
Take yourself to the room. You're fit company for nothing but your own ill humors.
Willingly, ma'am. I cannot change for the worse.
Exit Lydia. There's a little intricate hussy for you.
It's not to be wondered at, ma'am. All this is natural consequence of teaching girls to read. Had I 1,000 daughters, by heaven, I would as soon have them taught the black art as their alphabet.
Nice, Sir Anthony. You are an absolute misanthropy.
In my way hither, Mrs. Malaprop, I observed your niece's maid coming forth from a circulating library. She had a book in each hand. They were half-bound volumes with marble covers. From that moment, I guessed how full of duty I should see her mistress.
Those are vile places indeed.
Madam, a circulating library in a town is as an evergreen tree of diabolical knowledge. It blossoms through the year, and depend on it, Mrs. Malaprop, that they who are so fond of handling the leaves will long for the fruit at last.
Fie, Sir Anthony. You surely speak laconically.
Why, Mrs. Malaprop, in moderation, now, what do you have a woman know?
Observe me, Sir Anthony. I would by no means wish a daughter of mine to be a progeny of learning. I don't think so much learning becomes a young woman. For instance, I would never let her meddle with Greek or Hebrew or algebra or simony or fluxions or paradoxes or such inflammatory branches of learning. Neither would it be necessary for her to handle any of your mathematical, astronomical, diabolical instruments. But Sir Anthony, I would send her at 9 years old to a boarding school in order to learn a little ingenuity and artifice. Then, sir, she would have a supercilious knowledge in accounts. And as she grew up, I would have her instructed in geometry, that she might know something of the contagious countries. But above all, Sir Anthony, she should be a mistress of orthodoxy, that she might not misspell and mispronounce words so shamefully as girls usually do. And likewise, that she might reprehend the true meaning of what she is saying. This, Sir Anthony, is what I would have a woman know. And I don't think there is a superstitious article in it.
Well, Mrs. Malaprop, I will dispute the point no further with you, though I must confess that you are truly a moderate and polite arguer. For almost every third word you say is on my side of the question. But, Mrs. Malaprop, to the more important point in debate, you say you have no objection to my proposal?
None, I assure you. I am under no positive engagement with Mr. Akers. And as Lydia is so obstinate against him, perhaps your son may have better success.
Well, madam, I will write for the boy directly. He knows not a syllable of this yet, though I have for some time had the proposal in my head. He is at present with his regiment.
We have never seen your son, Sir Anthony, but I hope no objection on his side.
Objection? Let him object if he dare. No, Mrs. Malaprop. Jack knows that the least dimmer puts me in a frenzy directly. My process was always very simple in their younger days. It was, Jack, do this. If he dimmered, I knocked him down. And if he grumbled at that, I always sent him out of the room.
Aye, then the properest way of my conscience. Nothing is so conciliating to a young people as severity. Well, Sir Anthony, I shall give Mr. Akers his discharge and prepare Lydia to receive your son's invocations. And I hope you will represent her to the captain as an object, not altogether illegible.
Madam, I will handle the subject prudently. Well, I must confess, I must leave you, and let me beg you, Mrs. Malaprop, to enforce this matter roundly to the girl. Take my advice. Keep a tight hand. If she rejects this proposal, clap her under lock and key. And if you are just to let the servants forget to bring her dinner for 3 or 4 days, you can't conceive how she would come about.
Exit Sir Anthony. Well, at any rate, I shall be glad to get her from under my intuition. She has somehow discovered my partiality for Lucius O'Trigger. Sure, Lucy can't have betrayed me. No, that girl is such a simpleton. I should have made her confess it. Lucy, Lucy, had she been one of your artificial ones, I should never have trusted her.
Re-enter Lucy.
Did you call, ma'am?
Yes, girl. Did you see Sir Lucius while you was out?
No, indeed, ma'am, not a glimpse of him.
You are sure, Lucy, that you never mentioned?
Oh, Jimmy, I would sooner cut my tongue out.
Well, don't let your simplicity be imposed on.
No, ma'am.
So, come to me presently, and I'll give you another letter to Sir Lucius. But mind, Lucy, if you ever betray what you are entrusted with, unless it be other people's secrets to me, you forfeit my malevolence and forever, and your being a simpleton shall be no excuse for your locality.
Exit Mrs. Malaprop.
So, my dear Simplicity, let me give you a little respite.
Lucy altering her manner.
Let girls in my station be as fond as they please of appearing expert, and knowing in their trusts, commend me to a mask of silliness, and a pair of sharp eyes for my own interest under it. Let me see to what account have I turned my simplicity lately.
Lucy looking at a paper.
For abating Miss Lydia Languish in the design of running away with an ensign in money sundry times, £12 12, gowns, 5 hats, ruffled caps, etc., numberless. From the said ensign, within this last month, 6 guineas and a half, and a quarter's pay. Item from Mrs. Malaprop for betraying the young people to her when I found matters were likely to be discovered. 2 guineas and a black putsode. Item from Mr. Eckers for carrying divers letters, which I never delivered. 2 guineas and a pair of buckles. Item from Sir Lucius O'Trigger. 3 crowns, 2 gold pocket pieces, and a silver snuff box. Well done, Simplicity. Yet I was forced to make my Hebronian believe that I was corresponding, not with the aunt, but with the niece. For though not over rich, I found he had too much pride and delicacy to sacrifice the feelings of a gentleman to the necessities of his fortune.
Exit Lucy. So that brings us to the end of Act 1 of The Rivals. I thank all our dear readers for coming and joining us once again to start this awesome readings. So thank you all, and thank you all our YouTube members. We are back. We'll be back every week, on Fridays, with a new work or probably a new thing for you, which will please you. So see you all in the next reading.